All right, so here we are back with Delve, and in the last session, this is the fort we ended up with, and not very much happened that affected us. Oh wait, I haven't. There we go. Now you can see the fort. Probably could. So yeah. The first thing we found was this forest cave, and it gives us some resources. And these are current resources. We have half of a whatchamacalls it? Half of a a resource is what it was called. And we have 2 trade goods. Not a lot. But certainly nothing to scoff at either. We also encountered this cave Kraken lair, which is only decorated with a few stalagmites. I believe that's the bottom, the floor ones, yeah. We've constructed a few rooms. Nothing terribly interesting. Near the end, we did build a kennel and a prison. I believe the prison was the last thing we built. And we also had this deep lava pit appear from a spell or some magic, bad magic that went off from this ancient library here, which we encountered. And that's the most of the interesting stuff that has happened so far. We defeated a burrowing worm, which appeared from, I believe, this cave down here. Or maybe it was this. I don't quite remember the details. We have 20 soldiers with a strength of 30, thanks to bonuses from the kitchen that we built. We also have strength. We have 4 gunners with a strength of 18, 12 base plus kitchen bonus. I believe the kitchen bonus was 10% or something like that. And then we have 4 soldiers so far. We are going to recruit more of those as the game goes on. This stream, there won't be any music, unfortunately, because my headphones, I fixed them, but when I was going to put them on now, they broke again. So I need to refix them and do a better job this time. It was a couple of plastic pieces that I glued back on, which I didn't do a very good job gluing back, apparently, or I used the wrong kind of glue, probably. Might be something. Might need to get some 2-component epoxy or something, some really strong stuff and try that. So I can't use my headphones, which also means I can't play music, because if I played music over my speakers, they would be picked up by the microphone and would be pretty bad. So unfortunately, cannot play music this time. So yeah, it is turn 15, and I don't remember if we actually completed. I think we completed turn 14, or we'll assume I completed turn 15 and ended it there at the end of that turn. Not sure which. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. But we'll go with that. We'll correct it next time if necessary. Oh yeah, we also built a kitchen down here. Oh no, we found an abandoned kitchen. That was it. I almost forgot about that. I was thinking why I would build another kitchen when the kitchen affects all units in connected rooms. So only one of these kitchens make a difference currently. This one would come in handy if this part of the fort got disconnected from this one down here somehow. Not sure how that would happen, but could possibly happen if something especially terrible occurs. I don't know if there are horizontal lava columns that can appear, but such a column could potentially cut off part of the fort from another part. Not particularly likely, I don't think, though. And that hopefully will not happen. That would be very bad. So, I do need to open the PDF for myself, and then we're going to continue with our fort shenanigans. I've also gotten my overlay to work this time. I had to do a lot of work on that. Some of it a bit last minute, you could say, which is why I postponed the stream a little bit. But it is, or it should be working now. I've done a lot of testing and seemed to be fine. I had to work around a new development that had happened in OBS. Namely that it suddenly cared about cross-origin requests and blocked them, which it didn't used to do, which prevented my overlay from getting chat messages from Restream. So I had to implement a different way of getting chat messages from Restream, which was a little bit of a pain, but it also paves the way for other features that I'm going to add in. I have added in one new feature, which is chat filtering. Well, my overlay does a number of things, but one of the things it does is display chat messages on screen, over the chat. No one said anything yet, so I haven't seen any, but if someone were to say something, it should appear on the stream, regardless of the source. It should be on the left side above the little person counter down there, which is another thing it does. It counts each unique chatter, which is separate from the either platform's view counter, which I have no idea how they work really. It also has a poll feature, which I might use eventually if I gather enough of an audience doing this. Might be able to test it out, doing some polling for certain hard decisions or something like that. And as I mentioned, it also does chat filtering, which only affects the on-screen chat, of course. And then there are some features that I haven't had time to implement yet, but with these new changes should be around the corner, so to speak. And those are highlighting and grabbing certain messages that contain certain phrases. And my intention for that is that during official DungeonFog streams, the word question has a special connotation, and I would like my overlay to be able to capture messages that contain that word so that they can be more easily, hello, Lord God, so that they can be more easily, what's the word? Oh, well, the overlay doesn't seem to be working, which is weird. Huh. Not sure what's going on there. Message appeared in. Oh, does it not capture messages from YouTube? Shouldn't have a problem with that. Let's see. Let's have a console up, see if anything happened. Nothing there. Always, of course, when you test something live, it doesn't work. Oh. I see. Cannot read property to lowercase of null. So basically, I broke it when I made an adjustment earlier, just before the stream started. I did get a little stressed. What do you mean null? Okay, give me 1 minute. I want to see if I can fix this quickly. Well, it shouldn't be getting null here, where this error happened. It happens in the new filtering system. Oh. Wait. Okay. Oh, I see what the problem is. I used a thing where I shouldn't have. Probably it's probably confusing it. Well, it shouldn't, but you never know. Unfortunately, now I have to reload it, which is annoying because that means I have to reconnect it's going to show a code on screen, which you can't do anything with, so that doesn't matter. Still annoying though. Okay. So with those messages, you could see how the chat messages should look like when they work. Let's try going to connect it up to Restream again. And now it should be connected. I'm going to write something into the chat just to see if it works. This is a test. No, that doesn't work. Great. Just wonderful. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that wasn't the issue. Something is null when it shouldn't be null. Oh, is it because the it's because there are no filtering phrases, but it's, oh, I see. Right. There's an array that contains 2 nulls, which it shouldn't. I can fix that temporarily by doing this. Now I have to reload the thing again. But now the issue should be corrected. So let's reconnect everything again. And then we are going to also reconnect Restream again. Now it should work. The array should not contain nulls, so I need to look at why that is happening and then fix that later. But this will do as a temporary fix. Please tell me that worked. It's not producing any errors. It should have shown the chat is ready to display messages message. I think. Write another test message. Literally. No? No, there it is. Okay, now it's working. Good. Okay. Finally. So there we go. That's how it's supposed to look. Which is also important for the poll feature to work correctly. I haven't added anything to the filter currently, except a couple of nulls apparently. And now the view counter went up by 1 because it counted me when it only counts people who say something. Okay, back to Delve finally. Right, so let's say we are at the start of turn 16. And, oh yeah, I also need to, find, where did I put the, I put the resource tracking file somewhere. I assume you weren't here during the last stream then. Yeah, I can describe Delve again. There it is. Found the text file with my resource notes in. So Delve is a map drawing game, as it's referred to by the author. And it's meant to be played with pen and paper, but you can use, well, anything. I'm obviously using DungeonFog for it. And you play as a group of dwarves who are sent out to create an outpost. and dig for something called the Void Crystal, which I don't know what it's for, but our ruler wants it, and we've been tasked with finding it. And the goal is to dig down into the rock below until we find this crystal. In doing so, we can find a number of other things, mainly dangerous monsters who will try to make it to our entrance, which is this room here. And if a monster makes it out, escapes from our fort, that means our fort has been destroyed and we lose. And we've only had one occurrence of this so far, which was this burrowing worm that appeared during the last stream. And we also have this cave kraken, like I mentioned earlier, but it is the description of the event said that it lives in its lair and it doesn't do anything until we try to go into its lair. And I've stayed out of this part of this cave so far. And also, as you go deeper, the monsters get more and more dangerous because they get a bonus to their strength as you go down, depending on which level you encounter the monster at. Yeah, the Cave Kraken has a strength of 45, which we can't match currently. Actually, we can, but just barely. And the way combat works in this game is that everything that can fight has a strength score, strength value. And that's 45 for the Cave Kraken. And for example, our soldiers has a base strength of 20, 5 for each soldier, and we have 4 of them. But then we get a bonus of something for each soldier from the kitchen that I built. So they actually have a strength of 30. Oh yeah, it's 50%, obviously, because we get a bonus of 10 for 4 soldiers. So we have 30 total. And we also have some gunners, which also get the same bonus, but 50% of a gunner's strength value. And when combat happens and 2 combatants meet, you subtract their strength value from one another at the same time. And if the strength value goes below 0, that creature is destroyed. Or that's... what did it call our soldiers? We have units, which is an individual, but then they form troops. That was it. So this is a troop of 4 soldiers. They are stationed in this barracks here, and they work as one, as a troop. So they move as this single token and combine their strength values together. And if these soldiers were to meet the Cave Kraken, they would take shots at each other, and we would subtract 45 from 30, which is less than 0. So the soldiers would be destroyed. They would be killed. But the soldiers would also subtract 30 strength from the Cave Kraken, leaving it with 15. So the Cave Kraken would not be destroyed, but it would be weakened. So it would from then on have a strength of 15, which would make it would enable our gunners to destroy it, but it would sacrifice all of our soldiers. Different units can have special abilities. The gunners, for example, have ranged, the ranged ability, which means that they can attack up to 2 spaces away So the gunners can attack something that is in this room here. And no. There are different rooms that produce different units. And the game said that barracks can produce either gunners or soldiers, but because of some kind of disagreement, some slight against firearms, I don't remember exactly what it said, they don't like each other, so they cannot share the same barracks, which means they also cannot share the same troop. Now, I say they can't, but someone's driving a motorcycle outside. All my windows open because it's very warm. All the rules are very loose in this game because it's a single player game. It's not a multiplayer game. Although you could probably do that as well, like I said at the end of the last stream. But you can change the rules however you want and interpret them however you want. So could combine these troops. Yeah, probably. But there's no real point in doing that, though. It's probably better to just have them separate. Because they can occupy the same room. Now, this game doesn't deal in these grid tiles that I'm using in here. I'm just using that to get some granularity in token movements and room layouts. A space in Delve is actually one of an entire room, and the game doesn't concern itself with anything less than that. But I'm using a smaller grid because I want more control over where tokens are placed, of course, and multiple troops can be in the same room, and it's up to you how you keep track of that. If you're playing this yourself, you can draw a map on a piece of paper and just add some kind of game pieces to track units and monsters and stuff. But yeah. Now, let's get on with the game, shall we? We are going to move on to turn 16, assuming. So let's update our heads-up display, so to speak. And at the start of the turn, we get 2 resources from this forest, which is nice. And resources, the 2 resources are represented by 2 suits. In our deck of cards, this game is based entirely around a deck of cards, and I happen to have a physical deck here. Another feature I want to add to my overlay is the ability to draw stuff, randomly generate things. It's going to be able to do a bunch of stuff like flip coins and roll dice and draw cards and a variety of similar actions. They're all very basically the same thing. But since it can't do that yet, I am going to use the same deck of cards I used last time. Now in this deck we have a red joker, which is not part of the deck currently, so we are going to remove it. Somewhere inside of the deck we have a black Joker, which we added in due to some event. I don't remember what the event was. But we will we'll keep that in the deck. I don't know where it is. And what we do now is we can choose to explore a space, an unexplored space. And I want to continue down here by the prison that I built last stream. Now the question is which direction to go in. Should I keep going down, which is more dangerous? We're already at level 5 here. Or should I go to the side a bit to get some more resources, potentially? I think we should go to the side for a bit longer. Not challenge fate too much. I believe monsters got an extra 5 strength multiplied by the level you are at. So if we go down to level 6, they would get a lot stronger. It's already bad enough to encounter something at level 5, I think. But let's explore the space. Now exploring a space means we draw a card. And I'm going to shuffle this deck a bit, somewhat poorly. Why? Wish I had this feature in my overlay. Then I wouldn't have to shuffle cards, which I'm not very good at. Not good at all, because I don't do this very often. In fact, I would say I'm quite terrible at it. I'm glad you can't see this, because it's very, very awkward shuffling. It's so quiet today. I wish I could play music. Stupid headphones. Really sad that my headphones broke, because I really liked those headphones. They were so good. And I want to fix them. Okay. That'll do. So now I'm going to draw the top card. And it is a Jack of Diamonds. There we go. Oh. Damn lights. Like that. There we go. Jack of Diamonds. Now, diamonds is of course trade goods, which means we get. Now I need to have a look at the PDF because I forget. Yeah, this is a nice deck of cards. It's not made of paper. It's some kind of plastic, thin plastic. They don't have anything on the back of them. They're just black. And then they have this stylized, kind of classical design. But they are not red and black. They are blue and white. The blue... normally red cards are blue, and the normally black cards are white, which confused me at first because I couldn't remember which was which. But I know diamonds is supposed to be red now, so this is a red suit. yeah, diamonds is trade goods. We add the value of the card plus the current depth to our resources. And we just find an empty cavern or we've mined out a space. And we found resources that we that we can trade. So a jack is 10. Plus 5 because we are on level 5. So we are going to add 15 trade goods, so we get a total of 17. I'd also like to build this resource tracking thing into the overlay at some point as well, but I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do that right now. Now we are going to place an empty natural room here. I should actually rename this to cave because it's an empty cave. Then we're going to put this down here. Align it with the grid. And then we are going to, nope, that's not what I wanted. Hide these adjoining walls, and I've been doing this a lot. So we found an empty cave. I'm going to take this card and I'm going to put it back somewhere in the middle of the deck. I believe that's what the instructions told me to do. That's the first phase of the turn. Second, we get to trade if we want to. And you can trade resources or turn resources into trade goods or trade goods into resources. I believe one resource was worth 2 trade goods. Let me actually look this up. Trading. 1 unit of trade goods is worth 2 units of resources. So you need 2 resources to get 1 unit of trade goods. Now, I don't want to turn trade goods into resources because, well, the next step is building, or the next phase is building. We can build 1 structure if we want to, but that always costs resources and sometimes costs trade goods. We don't have much in the way of resources currently, which is fine. We do have a bunch of trade goods. The next phase after building, we're not going to build anything, is recruiting. So in the recruiting phase, we can recruit as many units as we can afford and house. Now, we currently have 3 recruitment rooms. We have 2 barracks and we have a kennel. I'm keeping the kennel empty because if we defeat a monster, we're going to be able to tame that monster. We could recruit hounds here if we wanted to, but those cost trade goods. I want to spend that. Currently, they cost the same as a soldier. I'm looking at the table now. We can recruit soldiers in this barracks. They cost 5 trade goods per soldier. Each soldier has 5 strength, like I mentioned earlier. And they don't have a special ability or a power, as it's called. We can recruit gunners in this barracks. Gunners have a strength of 3. They still cost 5 trade goods, but they have the ranged power, which, like I said, means they can attack things that are up to 2 spaces away, which is very useful because they don't have to put themselves in danger. They can't be attacked back unless the thing moves into their room or their space. Hounds. We could recruit hounds. They cost 5 trade goods, have a strength of 3. So they are weaker than soldiers. They do have the power moves 2 spaces per round, though, so they are twice as fast as the soldiers and the gunners. But like I said, I don't want to spend resources on that because I'm keeping the kennel empty in case we can tame something put in there. If you have an empty kennel and you defeat a monster, you tame that monster and it will then live in the kennel, but it occupies the entire kennel. But it will then fight for you. It's a unit you can control. And that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot. We also have this prison. And the prison, actually, at the start of each turn after you build it, we add 5 prisoners to it. And once the prison is full, so we'll add 5 to it now for this turn. And it can hold 20 prisoners. And once it is full, each turn after that, we gain 20 trade goods from this prison. And we could build more. There's a danger, however, and that is if the prison becomes disconnected somehow, which I talked about earlier. Not very likely, but it could happen. The prisoners escape and will fight. They become like a monster, basically. It's also another benefit to a prison. If we want, we can let the prisoners out, and they will act as enemies to both sides. But that's why I built the prison all the way down here. Hopefully we won't need to use that, but we could. It could be useful, potentially. Mainly I built it for the trade goods we will gain from it. A prisoner has a strength of 1, so full prison is just 20 strength, which is not very much. But it's still better than nothing. If a monster is coming up here, my idea is that I'm going to continue digging down from the prison so that if a monster is coming through here, it has to go through the prison. Now, since I don't want to do that, I don't want to recruit any hounds, so we can recruit gunners or soldiers. I'm thinking I want to recruit some more gunners. Because they are less likely to die because they are ranged. Can still happen, of course, but still less likely. They're not as strong as the soldiers, of course, but we have a good amount of strength in the soldiers. So let's recruit some gunners. Now, gunners, they cost 5 trade goods per unit, and they have a strength of 3. We have 17 trade goods, so we could at most recruit 3 of them. I think I'm going to recruit another 2. Yeah, let's recruit another 2 gunners. So we will up our count from 4 to 6, and each room can only hold a certain amount, which is what this number is. So when we have recruited 6 gunners or 10 gunners, we can't recruit any more without building another barracks. then we bring our trade goods down to 7. And now I have to recalculate the strength of this troop. So 6 times 3, what is that? 17, I think. Yeah. No, 18. It's 18. So their base strength becomes 18. And then again, because of the kitchen, we get each soldier gets a bonus of 50%. So half their strength added on to their strength. So half of 3 is 1.5. So each soldier actually has 4.5 strength, which is a bit annoying to calculate. But we can also take half of 18, which is 9, and then we add 9 to 18. So we had 27. So they actually have a strength of 27. I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm not the best at head math, but I can do the simple stuff pretty quickly, I think. Oh, damn it. I didn't press enter. Try that again. 27, press enter to update. There we go. So now we have 27th strength gunners, the gunner troop, strength of 27, I should say. It's a little better worded. And that's the turn. So next we move on to, and once the turn is over, nothing happens between turns or anything. So we move on to turn 17. We get another 2 resources from our forest cave, underground forest. So we now have 4.5 resources. And then we are going to explore another space. And I don't think... No. It says the first thing you'll do on your turn is choose an adjacent unexplored grid space. You basically have to explore one space each turn, which makes sense because that's the main thing that makes things happen. If you didn't explore anything, nothing would happen and you would just sit there doing nothing. I'm also kind of playing with, I guess you would call it a house rule, that we can only build rooms in spaces that we have cleared. The book specifically says that you don't need to do this. I don't remember exactly where, but no, wait, it said on the website, I think, on the product page, it had some Q&A stuff, and I think it said there that you don't need to build, or you can build anywhere. So according to the rules as written, I suppose, or the intention is that you can just build a room in this space without exploring it first. But I'm playing with the rule that I need to clear a space for a room first, because you can't just, because it makes sense to me, and I think it would to most people, that we don't know what is in this space, and if we explore it, using game terms, we draw a card to see what is here, and something terrible could be here. But if we just build a room here, that thing that could be here magically disappears. And it doesn't disappear. We would still draw the next card, and the next space we explore would have that thing. But I think it makes it slightly more challenging, because if I want to, for example, well, I have an empty cave here where I could put a room, but if I didn't have a space to build something near my existing rooms, I would have to explore it, and something bad could happen. Now, it would be less bad to explore a space up here on level 3, I think, yeah, than down here at level 6. But something bad could still appear up there, and I think that makes it more interesting. And you could call this game a roguelite, in that you have each game is a run, and you might lose and just have to start over from scratch. Of course, unlike most video game roguelites, you don't retain anything between runs. You just start over from scratch. Is that kind of game, but those can be fun too. Okay, so for turn 17, we're going to before I forget, we're going to add another 5 prisoners. So we now have 10 prisoners. We're halfway to getting a lot of trade goods for free. This is nice. Then we're going to explore the space south of the prison now. So I'm going to take the next top card, and it is a king of I forget the name of this suit. This one, spade. No, clubs. It's clubs. Yeah, I don't use cards very much, because I'm bad at shuffling them, and I'm bad at remembering what the suits are called. I had to do this exact thing during the last stream. Sit here and think about, or trying to remember what the suits were called. But yeah, it's clubs, which I don't know why it's called that. Very weird. The way I remember it is that the spades suit kind of looks like the head of a shovel or a spade. But yeah, so this clubs is a natural formation. Spades is remnants, which we found at least 2 last stream. We found 3 actually. The first was this ancient library, which produced this bad magic that made all this lava appear. Second was this temple, which has an altar in it, buried temple. We can recruit a cleric here if we want to, but I think something happened if we did, so I didn't want to do that. And then we found this abandoned kitchen, which was also a remnant. But now we found a natural formation, so I need to go down to the natural formations table in the PDF. I also talked about adding bookmarks to this PDF, but I forgot to do that. So, natural formations. Ooh, great. Well, okay. A burrowing beast, strength 20, digs a tunnel straight up from this space. When it reaches one of your rooms, combat starts, and it moves normally towards the entrance. Can be tamed, does not burrow. Kind of ironic, given its name. Okay, so it digs a tunnel straight up from the space when it reaches one of your rooms. So we are in this space currently. So it encounters the prison, which is one of my rooms. So it doesn't do a whole lot, fortunately. It would have been pretty bad if it would dug its way straight up into our storeroom here. I would not have liked that. Oh yeah, we also found this wishing well. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to add a cave here, and I'm just going to copy and rotate this other empty cave that I have with one entrance. That's one less wall I have to hide. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Didn't actually rotate the room, or immediately forgot. But whatever, that's fine. And then a burrowing beast appears here. And this is where I'm going to go down to a little table further down in the PDF. And that has 4 different types of burrowing beasts in it. And we're going to roll on this table to see what it is more exactly. And this is just for flavor. This doesn't do anything extra, but it's going to help me choose a token for it. And hopefully we have something appropriate in our token library. First, I'm going to put this back somewhere near the middle of the deck. And then I'm going to get out a D4 for my dice collection. And once again, I'm going to use the same one I used during the last stream. Dice away. My stack of cards tried to escape. I'm not having that. So I'm going to use this nice purple spacey die that I have. I'm gonna roll it to the tray. Get a 3 on the table. A 3 is an undead owl. Not had that before. Where did I get the? Did I have the? Was it the burrowing worm? Yeah, I think the burrowing worm was specifically a burrowing worm. It wasn't. It's not one of the things you can randomize. So we have an undead owl. Not sure what an undead owl is doing burrowing through the ground. It's a bit odd. But let's see if we have an owl token here. Probably won't have an undead owl token. Yeah, there is an owl token. We'll use that. Very disappointing that there's not an undead owl token. I can't believe they didn't foresee this turn of events. Gonna have to file a formal complaint about that. Of course, it needs to load all the tokens before it gets to the owl. They should split these up into categories, so you don't have to load all of them. Those two called mask. What did they look like? Ah. Okay. Almost at the owl. There it is. Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting. Is that even an owl? Looks like a purple wolf with blue eyes. There we go. Well, that's an owl, I guess. I suppose that will work. It does vaguely look like an owl. Doesn't look like it has a beak though. Strange, but undead owl. Now, I guess in color it does. Not really though. He had a hat and stuff. Kind of see the resemblance, but it's mostly the color, I think. Now we have an undead owl. Now we're going to need to calculate the strength. It said 20 base. Where was it? There. Burrowing beasts. 20 strength. And since we are at level 5, I believe we added 5 strength for each level. I need to go up and check. It's under combat rules, I think. Combat. Spawn the enemy you discovered by placing a token on the space you explored to represent it. The discovery that triggered combat will give you the enemy's starting strength value, so 20. But as you go deeper under the ground, they will get stronger. When spawning an enemy, add 5 to its strength for each level of depth. Example, you draw a 2 of spades, discovering a forgotten crypt at depth 3. The undead that spawn there will have a starting strength of 35, based on their base strength of 20. Plus the depth bonus of 15 for a depth of 3. So basically multiply the depth by 5, add that to the base strength. So we have, we are at level 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. So 20 plus 30 is 50. So we have a strength 50 undead owl, which appears here. Now the regular turn order is now paused because during combat, the flow of time slows to combat time, basically. I guess you could see the overall normal turns as sped up days or something, or weeks or months. but now we are in second by second or minutes or something. So the regular turns don't pass until combat is resolved. So we are now in rounds, and each round our troops will move 1 grid space, and then they can attack. All enemies move first. So the undead owl, it is going to move into the prison this round. And there's nothing there for it to do. So it's just going to stay there. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to our gunners is going to move wait. No, all right. No, I was thinking of a building or a room that we'd never built, the hospital. We don't have any hospitals, so it doesn't matter. Soldiers can move into the kennel. You can only move 1 turn per round, or 1 space per round. So that's round 1. Round 2, Undead Owl is going to move 1 step closer to the entrance. And I'm going to have the soldiers move down into the temple. Buried temple. Gunners are going to move down into this storeroom. And I guess it doesn't matter which order we move things in currently, because they aren't meeting quite yet. So I'm going to have the gunners going to move into the soldier barracks. And then the undead owl is going to move 1 space over. Soldiers are going to now stay put in the temple. Then the undead owl is going to move up into this kitchen. I don't think enemies do anything particular to rooms unless they do. They specifically say that they do. Okay, now actually I probably shouldn't have moved them this much. I think I made a mistake now, because the ranged ability, it did say somewhere more specifically with how they work. Oh yeah. The reason it says it's not burrowing is it says here under additional rules, burrowing enemies that reach the top of the hold will turn around and dig back downward in an adjacent column of grid spaces. So yeah, this undead owl does not do that. Oh yeah, here it is. Special combat abilities. Ranged units can fire up to 2 grid spaces away, but cannot move and fire in the same combat round. And that's the drawback. And that's the mistake I made now, because this round, the undead owl moved up here. And I can move the gunners over here but they would not be able to attack the owl yet, which is unfortunate. Well, actually, I think it probably doesn't matter. Actually, it does. It does matter. And now we get to strategize. Because if I move the gunners here, the undead owl moved here and the soldiers don't move. What would happen the next round is the undead owl would move up into this room and encounter the soldiers. Soldiers would take 30 strength off the undead owl, leaving it with 20. And the undead owl in turn would destroy the troop of soldiers. Then the gunners would be able to shoot the undead owl for 27, which would destroy it, or take it out, I should say, because we would be able to tame it. But we would lose all of our soldiers. What I could do instead, probably, which would be better, is if I move the gunners back here, and there's still time to do this. And actually, I moved... Wait, no. No, I've already moved the gunners. Well, I guess technically I haven't moved the gunners yet, if I were following the rules. No, I haven't moved the gunners yet. They would move here this turn, so they haven't moved yet. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to have the gunners move back here. And then the soldiers are going to move up into the kennel. Now we're going to, we tick over to a new round. The undead owl moves first, so it's going to move up into the temple, which is now empty. The soldiers are going to move over here. And now the gunners are going to stay put. Because now what we can do, or what is going to happen now, is we move into the next round, and I'm just going to play this out because it's easier than just, there's no point in just explaining it. So the undead owl is going to move into the kennel, and there's nothing there, so nothing, it can't do anything. Now, the gunners, because they haven't moved this round, they can shoot the undead owl, and we can deal 27 damage to it. Actually, what am I doing? We don't need to sacrifice any soldiers at all. I just realized. You probably can't see my hand. I'm gesticulating. Out of frame. It's down here in the corner. Not that that matters. Yeah, so what we're going to do now, the owl moved into range. Our gunners are going to take a shot at the undead owl. We subtract 27 from the owl. What's that? 23? Yeah, I think. Pretty sure. That's 23 left. Yeah. And now we are going to move the soldiers, draw them back, because now we tick over to the next round. The owl is going to advance towards the entrance. All the monsters care about is getting to this entrance room. And like I said in the beginning, if they do so uncontested, they make it there and there's nothing in this room to stop them from escaping. They escape and we lose, which we don't want. But now it has moved into this barracks. Now the gunners can attack it again and deal another 27 strength of damage to it, which would bring it below 0 and take it out. But we are only wounding it. We aren't killing it, because we are going to tame it. Page 8, it says, creatures that have just been defeated can be revived in an empty kennel. These creatures have their full strength and are under your control. Not sure how you tame an undead owl, but we now have a strength 50 undead owl living in this kennel. So we're going to fill up the kennel because it takes up the entire kennel. This owl. Now combat has ended because that was it. So we're going to move all of our troops back into their rooms. Technically, they would disappear. You're supposed to take them off the map, but then they spawn in their rooms when combat starts. I think that's just a way to keep the map clear of coins or game pieces or whatever you're using to track your units or troops. But since we have this system, it's more inconvenient to take the tokens away each time. So just have them sit on their rooms waiting. Okay, so that's combat resolved, and that's all that happens with this space that we explored. Now, since combat is over, normal turns resume, and we pick up where we left off. So we finished the exploration phase. We are now in the building phase. We don't have any resources to build with. We've barely any. So we're going to skip that. Let's take this text down here, and we're going to write level 6 here. Gonna keep writing the level on this convenient lava column that we can't do anything on. Except we could dig into it and have lava flow into our fort, which would be bad. So I'm not going to do that. But I can use it to track the depth, which is useful. Because during the first stream before I did this, I had to keep going back up and count the levels because I kept forgetting. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to build anything. We don't really have the trade goods to recruit anything. So we're going to skip that as well. And that means the turn is over. So we're going to advance to the next turn. So we go to turn 18, get an additional 2 resources from the forest, bringing us up to 6.5 resources. What is this? Oh, right. It's the pop filter. Attachment. It looked weird when it was just stopped in midair here, but it goes out of camera frame, which makes sense. Okay. What do we want to do? Well, we are pretty well guarded now, so I think we can afford to explore, continue downwards. So let's explore this space here. So we'll draw the next card. Ah, that's an ace of spades. Oh dear. Show that. It's a nice ace of spades. It's upside down. That might not be good. Let's have a look at that. So spades, like I said before, is remnants. Those can be very bad or good, depending on which one we get. Oh dear. That hurt my throat. That was unpleasant. It's not a natural formation. A monster village. Oh, I need to cough. Oh, that happened last stream as well. I'm not used to talking this much because I haven't been doing YouTube or streaming in quite a while. Oh, that makes my eyes water. Very unpleasant. Okay, Monster Village. 1d4 grid spaces in size. Monster strength is equal to the village size times 10. If monsters enter a room with no units in it, lose 10 trade goods as they break and steal what they can. And then we have a 1d4 table of monster ideas. Said on page was that? Page 42. Monster Village. Goblins, kobolds, frog people, or pixies. So let's roll on. I'm gonna put this card back right away. We're in the middle of the deck. We're going to. I'm going to remember what it was. Then I'm going to roll the d4. Get a 2, which is kobolds. So we find a village of kobolds. Then we need to roll to determine how many grid spaces it takes up. So roll the d4 again. 3. Ooh dear. Okay. So we can copy this here. Cave. But then we are going to have to extend it. So it takes up, it's going to take up a total of 3 spaces. And the way I did that in the last stream was we assign each direction a number. So 1 is up, 2 is to the right, 3 is down, and 4 is to the left. So I'm going to roll, I'm going to keep rolling the, we need to roll it twice because we need 2 additional spaces. So we're going to roll it once to get a direction, and then from there we're going to roll it again and get another space to occupy. So rolling it once, we get a 4. So 1 space to the left, and then from there we get a 2. 2 is to the right. That's where we came from, so we can't do that. So we roll again. 1. So it goes up. So it's going to reach around and go back up here. Now we are going to have to expand this room to take up said space. And I'm going to do it fairly loosely. I don't know why it does that. It's weird. We're basically going to do something like this. And then we are going to start splitting this wall. There. Can also do this. And then like that. Could flatten this bit, I guess. We'll make connections if we need them. Okay. So we got a size 3 kobold village. So that means that we get a horde. We basically get a horde of kobolds. With a strength of 30, which is not too bad. We handled a strength 50 undead owl just now, so strength 30 is not bad. We should be able to take that out with our gunners, so we are fine. Now we want to take them out before they get. We are actually going to lose all of our trade goods because they are going to get to this prison before we can do anything about it. And they're going to pillage it. Now, I'm not sure why there would be valuables in a prison. Seems like that would be bad. It does say that it includes them breaking stuff, so they break costly prison equipment. We do want a village here. Now, I'm thinking tents. Mainly because making houses would be annoying. So let's see what we have in tents. I'm currently in the assets in the marketplace category. We'll see what shows up here. Those are pretty nice. Restless Sands. We also have, oh, that's small. Very small. Looks a little patchy though, which might be good. Doesn't really look. Oh, right. The word tentacle contains the word tent. We'll have a look in the content subscription where we get the same thing. Old tent. These would work. These look a little simpler, I think. Works better for kobolds. Desert. Maybe this. This might work. Can't really. It's difficult to tell that that's a tent, however. I think Actually, I think we'll go with these. That doesn't look right for kobolds. Probably nothing appropriate in modern or sci-fi categories. So we'll go with this. So we'll place a few of these tents. We'll put some other stuff in this space as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to group them up a bit and then put a campfire in the middle. So I'm going to have a couple of these circles of tents. Then each will have a campfire. So we'll do one here. We'll leave an opening there. Get through. And then put one there. And then there is space for a third circle. Apparently I accidentally zoomed there. That was not my intention. But whatever. I'll leave a gap there for the exit. And then we can have another bunch of tents going around here. Probably also want to keep going down there, so I'm going to leave another opening there. And then we'll just put a random tent in the middle here. Let's see if we have a campfire. Not a camping table. I don't like the perspective on that. It's too much perspective. Seriously? No. Okay, fire pit, fireplace. That. Okay, it's a dwarven fire pit. Not really what we're looking for. Fireplaces. Is there a fire pit? That's a fireplace, like an indoor one. That's not what I want. Bunch of this is just fire. Yeah. Someone's being noisy outside. Okay, this is just fire. Well, the dwarven fire pit doesn't really do it. Pretty sure I don't have anything that that I've uploaded. Oh, now we have some fire pits that show up. Now that I'm only searching for fire. Okay. I guess you're leaving. Good luck with whatever you're going to do, I guess. There's a round fire pit. That's exactly what I'm looking for. A little small though. Scale it up by 200%. 180%. Something like that. Put it one there, and then one there. One there. And then we'll have a bonfire on each of them. Kind of hiding most of it. That's fine. There we go. Very similar fires, but not that noticeable, I don't think. So there we go. There's our kobold village. Let's add a token for them. I'm going to end the stream fairly soon. I'm not going to stream for 4 hours this time. 2 will do, so we'll end the stream in about 15 minutes or so. Now, do we have a kobold token in here somewhere? Goblin, human. We don't. Now, this guy looks like the He-Man wizard character. Name Orzo or something like that. What does a kobold look like? Kind of dragony, scaly type thing. Ambler, no. Not a robot or a raven or a rat. Lizard, I guess. They are sort of lizardy. This could be a delve kobold. Let's go for that. Oh yeah. Right, they also get strength based on the depth. And we encountered this room on depth 7. Should add in level 7 here. And the 7 times 5 is 35. So they actually have a strength of 65. Eesh, that's a little higher. Call it a kobold horde. 65. This might actually be a problem. Well, it's not a single creature, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure we could tame this. I'm not actually sure how that works. Shrink that text a bit. Well, I wish you could move it down, have it on have an offset for this. It doesn't cover up the token quite as much. Yeah, that's a good idea. Put a token directly on one of the fires because it was in the middle of the room. I can certainly reduce the opacity. Let's try an opacity of 50. Oops. Well, if you can see the logs, you can't really see the fire anymore. But as soon as you can see the fire, you can't really see the logs. It basically just reduces the brightness of the fire, which I suppose is fine too. It's maybe a little too bright. But then again, fire is bright. I don't know. It doesn't matter really too much. But I do like that it's a little less bright. I think I turned off. Yeah, I turned off the lights. Probably look very different with the lights on. Fire not a light source? No, apparently not. Let's go from white to red. Wait. Why does it? Oh, it just doesn't update very fast. Well, it's too laggy to have lights, I think. So I'm just not going to do that. Okay, let's leave it like that for now. Can always come back and adjust rooms later if you like it. Okay, so now combat is going to start once again, and we're probably going to resolve this fight, and then we are going to end the stream for this week. Actually, I want to see if I can figure out how taming works more exactly. Let's see. Kennel. Kennel allows you to tame creatures. See page 8. Creatures that have just been defeated can be revived in an empty kennel. It just says creatures. Kind of makes it sound like you could tame a horde of kobolds. But if the kennel can only hold 5 hounds, I don't think an entire village of kobolds would fit somehow. I don't know. It feels like it would be permissible by the rules because this is still it's a creature, kind of. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it makes sense to do that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with no on the taming of the kobolds. Which is also, I think, adds a little bit of challenge because I would be able to use the previous creature to weaken the kobold significantly, and then take out the rest with my gunners. But if we do it this way, if we say we cannot tame the kobolds, then we can't just replace the creature we are going to sacrifice to stop the kobolds with the kobolds. So yeah, we're going to say no, that we cannot tame the kobolds. So let's start combat. Like I said, we will resolve this fight, and then we're going to end the stream for today. So kobolds move up here, and I'm going to count the rounds, and then we're going to make the appropriate amount of moves for our soldiers to get them where we want them, because it's going to take a while for the kobolds to make it all the way up to the actual fort. Now, like I said, it said if they get to a room with no soldiers in it, or no defense, basically no creatures, they're going to pillage it and destroy and steal things, and we lose 10 trade goods for every time that happens. We only have 7 trade goods, so when they move into the prison, and I'm going to interpret rooms as it just says rooms, but I'm going to interpret that as a constructed room that has our stuff in it. Let's see what it said exactly. Where was it? If it enters a room with no units in it, lose 10 trade goods. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense that if it enters an empty cave, that it would I would lose trade goods. I don't think. But since we only have 7 trade goods to start with, it can only happen once anyway. I guess we could go into debt, but I don't want to track negative numbers. That seems like making the game a lot harder than it should be. So let's count the rooms. So it moved up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would move 7, or it would move 6 spaces before the next move would have a fight start, which is more than enough for our gunners to make it to their defensive position down here, which is just 2 moves, 1, 2, and counting the rounds doesn't really matter, I guess. So next round, whichever one it is, this is going to happen. So the kobolds are going to enter the kennel. I want to put them on the text because text is on top for some reason. And the undead owl and the kobold horde are going to fight, and we subtract each creature's strength from the other. So the undead owl takes 50 strength off the undead or kobold horde, leaving it with 15. And at the same time, the kobold horde takes 65 strength from the undead owl, leaving it at 0. So the kobold horde destroys the undead owl. Unfortunately, it was a short-lived pet, but it was nice while it lasted. It probably looks more adorable in the picture than it actually is, or actually would be. So we take 50 off of there, leaving it with 15. And now, since it has moved in here this turn, or this round, I mean, our gunners can attack it because it's within 2 tiles. And they will take 27 strength off of the kobold horde, leaving it at 0, or below 0 technically, thus destroying it. And we are not going to tame it. That doesn't make sense to me. So we'll add it to our trophy or gallery over here. We'll put this at 0 so you can see that it was... Well, actually, we'll put it at 50 because it was immediately defeated, and all the other ones have the last amount they had before they were defeated. So that the undead owl was one-shotted, basically. Now that combat is over, the gunners will move back up into their room. Technically, there should be 10 beds in each barrack as well. Oh wait, no. No, I imagine that these were bunk beds, actually. They each are 2 sleeping spots. And that is the kobolds defeated. We'll do one more round or one more turn. Okay, so that was the exploration step. Should probably finish this turn first. Oh, hiccup randomly. So that was we explored this space, and also we found a large cavern full of kobolds, and we don't have the resources to build anything. We now have less trade goods than we had. We have no trade goods now, so we can't recruit anything. That's basically our turn. So we're going to advance to turn 19. And I want to explore this space here. So we're going to stay on level 7 for a little bit. Let's draw a card. And it's a Queen of Diamonds. Which is pretty good. I've been lucky with the card draws today. Fairly lucky at least. Show that Queen of Diamonds. Not that you know that I am actually drawing these cards properly. Whoops. I'm dropping them properly. Oh well, I'll pick that up later. You'll just have to trust me that I actually am drawing cards properly. So we can copy this cave. It's nice and convenient because it has an opening already and it's facing the right side. And now this tent is in the way. We'll just move these tents a little bit. Not sure I like them overlapping like that, so we'll do something like that. Seems good enough. That was a Queen of Diamonds. I just checked the floor. Queen is 10. We are on level 7, so we get 17 trade goods from that. So we're back from where we were before we recruited those additional gunners, which is nice. And before we had stuff, our prison wrecked. Okay. That's pretty much it. So nothing else happens due to the card draw. We still don't have... Oh wait, I forgot to add. We add 2 resources. Whoops. I did not mean to do that. We had 2 resources for the forest for the turn. I believe I forgot to do that. And then since we can't build anything and we can't, well, actually, we could recruit something now. Should we? Could recruit 2 additional 2 additional gunners, strengthen our line even more. I think that would be good. Yeah, let's spend another 10 because each gunner costs 5, so we'll spend 10 more trade goods, bring us back down to 7, so exactly the same procedure as last time. So we now have 8 gunners instead of 6. Now we have to recalculate their strength again. I'm going to bring up a calculator this time to make this a little faster. We'll see if we can make it to turn 20 without anything in particular happening. Okay, so 8 times 3. So they have a base strength of 24. But then we also have the 50% bonus. So we're going to multiply that by 1.5. And we get 36. So we now have a strength 36 troop of gunners, which is very nice. And again, the number in the parenthesis is their strength value after the bonus applied by the kitchen. Now, actually, I don't know if kitchens stack. I don't think it doesn't. I don't think it says really. Not that I read. Units in a room connected to a kitchen get 50% strength during combat. It doesn't really specify either way. So I'd call it unclear. We do have 2 kitchens that are connected, but I'm going to say that having multiple kitchens doesn't give additional bonuses. That would be a bit ridiculous. So we'll say, but I didn't build the second kitchen. We found it when we were exploring. It's an old abandoned kitchen. But actually, I should change the floor to represent that. That is an old structure. That's the same layout as our kitchen. In fact, it's the exact same layout, so it's a little mysterious, but whatever. The kennel is now empty also. Should change the number to reflect that. You would recruit hounds there if you wanted to, but we're going to wait until we get we can tame another creature for it. So that's recruitment, and that's the turn done. So now we're going to move on to turn 20. We go up to 10.5 resources. And we're going to explore another space. And this is the last turn before we are going to end the stream. Let's go another space sideways from this last cave. And it's a 3 of diamonds. And then we add 7 to that, so we get 10 trade goods. So we go back up to 17. which is fine. Not particularly exciting. We can just copy this cave over. And then hide this wall. Oh, was I disconnected? Just said welcome to the chat room. Was I disconnected? Maybe it was just a brief disconnect. Or reconnected. I don't think I missed anything. Oh yeah. 2 turns have passed where I didn't add any prisoners. So we get 5 prisoners per turn until the prison is full. So it goes up to 20. And the next turn, we are going to get 20 trade goods. So I'm going to add that to the heads-up display to remind myself of that. But we get 20 trade goods for each full prison we have, and now we have 1 full prison, which is quite generous, I think. But like I described earlier in the stream, there are some dangers with having a prison. If it gets disconnected from the fort, the prisoners will break out and start wreaking havoc. And if you then reconnect to that part of the fort, you will have to fight the prisoners. So yeah, that is turn 20. We explored. We still don't have very much in the way of resources, so we're going to hold off on building. We could recruit, but might as well hold off on that as well. Actually, nah, there's no reason to do that, really. We'll get 20 trade goods per turn from now on, so let's just fill up this barracks with gunners. Why not? So we'll get 2 more gunners. Now we have 10. So this becomes a little easier now. They have a base strength of 3. 3 times 10 is 30. Nice and easy. Oop. And then they get a bonus of 50%, which is 15. So 30 plus 15 is 45. So we now have a troop, a max size troop of 10 gunners with a strength of 45, which is not bad. Now, of course, we can't recruit any more gunners, though, unless we build another barracks, which we could do. Could build a barracks here. Might need to excavate some more space around here so that we can fit some more rooms in. But that is where we're going to end it for today. Not about half as long as last week's stream, but we don't have any music this time, which saddens me. But hopefully I will have another stream next week at the around the same time. It was a little later this time because I was trying to finish the changes to the overlay, or the update to my overlay, making the chat integration work, which I succeeded at, but there are still more features to add to it. So hopefully I will have that, have those done by next week. I'm also going to repair my, or try to fix my headphones. Need to get some better glue, I think. And hopefully I will have those usable by next week as well, and which means I will be able to play music again next week. Can't play music without them because I would have to play it over my speakers, and then my microphone would pick it up and it would be bad. very bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going next week. From here, I might take these 2 streams and put together some kind of recap thing, a highlight reel, maybe. Maybe upload that to YouTube for people who don't want to, so people don't have to watch 6 hours worth of streams just to see the interesting parts, because it's a lot of me sitting trying to remember things or reading, which is not the most exciting thing. And then I could perhaps, if it's not too long, show that highlight reel or recap at the start of the next stream to catch us up, and also it would remind me of what happened, because I will probably forget. So hopefully I'll have time to put together something like that. But until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.